So this article by Camilla through the Express was October 31st, 2016. At the time, Harry and, Todge and Nut are in Canada, supposedly in Toronto, celebrating Halloween with, is it Eugenie, and, I don't know, Marcus Anderson, pretty much all the Soho House community. That's supposedly happening Halloween 2016, and during that time, the palace has instructed to release the relationship through newspapers, through the Royal Rota. So 1:33 p.m. I'm guessing. Now, I think there was just some things I wanted to point out that she said, because this also proves that she's a liar, and she's lied, and she's a part of this fabrication as well, and orchestration. In recent weeks, Harry has had a spring in his step and can't stop smiling. So only for weeks. Only for recent weeks, the relationship pretty much, she's insinuating, implying that the relationship has only been going on for a few weeks. He's happier than he's ever been for many years. They're taking each week as it comes. Harry has been desperate to keep the relationship quiet because he doesn't want to scare Meghan off. I think Meghan knows, or Nut knows, that that's Prince Harry. You'd have to be locked in a dungeon to not know that that is Prince Harry and that is related to the royal family. But that being said, they were in a solid relationship, as Camilla has just said. She had confirmation that they were in a solid, developed relationship, not developing, and not, it had been some time that they were seeing each other. And it's too early to say if the relationship will lead to anything. That's not true. That's not what she said. She said that they were in a pretty solid relationship by then. And then she goes, it is thought that Harry and Meghan in May, when he was in Toronto to promote the Invictus Games for disabled servicemen, it was thought Harry met Meghan in May in 2016, so not the courtship. So in the exact documentary that she's talking about, she associates her amazingness, which is just shill instruction, of creating that article, when if you're to then cross-reference and go to the article, is a complete walking contradiction to the documentary she's in talking about this article. Fuck me. This is crazy. How is she married yet? She married a long-time boyfriend, but the couple split after just 2 years. 2 years. Oh yeah, I think that's true, but I've already gone through that they didn't divorce and they didn't marry in 2011. So that's not true. It's all a part of the narrative. Some claim that they divorced. Yeah. Bears, whatever. And she didn't go out with Cora Vitiello. That was just a setup. But, it's interesting that she's single and with Bogart and Guy, which is interesting because, yeah. Guy, the dog Guy or the beagle, it had a different name. They all had different names when she first got them. Was it Guy? The beagles? Anyway, that she was given that straight after she went to April Istanbul Soho opening. She has made several visits to London and has been on discreet dinners with Harry and out with his friends, which isn't true. She had only been to, in this documentary, she had only been once to UK since then, which was in June, during the tennis, and then they parted ways and they were having a long distance relationship ever since. So I don't know how that happened. And remember, Africa doesn't happen in this documentary. So, several visits to London. It's just all of that. That's just disproven easily. How from June to October have you had several visits while you're filming Suits when you went back in August to film Suits? That went to, was it November? Yeah. Anyway, it makes very little sense. Harry's been treated to her excellent cooking and they both enjoy yoga. So they both enjoy yoga together. That's interesting. Considering they're having long distance relationships and yeah, and that's how long they've been seeing each other, that they enjoy excellent cooking and yoga. She stayed with him at Kensington Palace and met the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. Yeah, so by then she's already met them. Mind you, in the engagement statement by Kensington Palace, which would be Jason North, it was stated that she had been hanging around Windsor Palace since May 2016. This is how contradictory everything is, right? They can't get the story straight. William and Kate really liked her. She fitted in straight away. The same identity traits they want to keep re-advertising. She was seeing da-da-da. See, and a father of Dutch and Irish descent. This is going to be interesting. Meghan's, yeah, so Dutch and Irish descent only, not British descent. Of Dutch and Irish descent only. African American mother. Of course, because that's the race card. Working as a freelance calligrapher. What a joke. Films Remember Me and A Lot Like Love. Yeah, okay. She landed the role in Suits, which she didn't really. That was, yeah, part of the setup. And you know that the TIG was a setup as well. Everything is just a fabrication. At the end of the day, half an hour, she likes to wear jeans and a sweater. She's just chill like that. She has also worked for the UN, and that whole chill identity is also an identity which we will soon prove. She has travelled to Afghanistan, See, this is all just... You can't have a platform like this and not be a part of a setup. I'm sorry. She was a D-grade actress in Suits, not even a major role, and all of a sudden, she's a bananitarian. Sassy, smart, and that word vivacious again. Wonderful. Yeah, righto.
It was a perfect opportunity for Harry and Meghan to sort of come together in a really informal environment and just actually talk. But she was funny, feisty, confident. She didn't seem too swayed or knocked by the fact that he was Prince Harry, and she thought he was terribly cute. And he thought, well, this is a cracking girl.
For a few days, it seems the couple saw each other intensively and then parted. Harry headed off to Southern Africa and campaigned for one of his passions, conservation. Meghan returned to Toronto where Suits is shot. The two began a secretive, long-distance relationship. An early clue, when Meghan posted an Instagram picture revealing a bracelet identical to one worn by Harry. Soon, the press was onto them.
Initially, we broke the story, a world exclusive of Prince Harry going out with Meghan Markle, because we had received information that she was his girlfriend and that they'd been going out for some time. And we were very confident of the information, so we ran it.
Immediately afterwards, Meghan found herself subject to the full tabloid treatment. Straight out of Compton, gang-scarred home of her mother revealed.
I just want to mention that this is by Royal Rota, this publication. It was also by the actual journalist who did write it, is British. She was just writing for the American branch. So, you know, she really had no clear understanding of what she was talking about when she was talking about Compton. She has no understanding when she's talking about, you know, Americanizing Doria, and saying that she comes from, you know, the bad side of the, I don't know, the neighborhood. It's a very intentionally staged article written by Royal Rota under instruction, and it's British. So I just find that really just it's inappropriate to the point of like yeah, I mean, it's like Americans having writing an article about, I don't know, the suburbs of, where's a bad place in, I don't know, Birmingham. Sorry, Birmingham's a good place, I'm not sure. Just, you know, maybe a bad place in UK. It's like America talking about that. Like, oh yeah, no, we're from the burbs. Yeah, we know what we're talking about. And, you know, it's just, yeah. It looks suspicious because it is suspicious.
Field declared one particularly controversial headline. In the Mail on Sunday, a columnist wrote pungently, "The Windsors will thicken their watery, thin blue blood with some rich and exotic DNA. Miss Markle's mother is a dreadlocked African-American lady from the wrong side of the tracks." Prince Harry was furious. Kensington Palace issued an unprecedented statement slamming what it called the...
I just want to also mention that they made no statements like this with the paparazzi and Princess Diana while she was alive, and being harassed and harangued by paparazzi, or the, you know, the phone hacking, or all those treacherous, insanely actual criminal things, or the fears for one's safety. That wasn't never reported in a statement that I'm aware of. And I was young, so I may not have been aware, but I mean, we didn't really have internet, did we? 1997-ish. So, yeah, I really, this statement by Jason North isn't just like inappropriate, it's irrelevant, considering what the royal family have put up with much more severe, many more severe situations than this. No, just no. It's highly, highly inappropriate that they did this, and it's just, again, suspicious and intentional because they had to use the race card very early on and claim Nutt as a victim to social media, because they add social media trolls, by the way. So they only, in this documentary, they only talk about this article being fresh out of Compton and having a dreadlocked African-American mother from the wrong side of the tracks. Also add in there that there's social media trolls that are being racist and sexist. Add the sex card too. It's really important for her identity, branding and politics that will no doubt be launched in America very, very shortly, and all policies will be towards those things because she is a victim and she needs to protect others and protect her children. And Harry needs to protect her, and she needs to protect Harry, and everything under the sun that they could use, they used under this identity construction.
The racial undertones of comment pieces and the outright sexism and racism of social media trolls.
What was quite unusual about it was that you could hear practically Prince Harry having dictated it. Clearly he felt that strongly.
Harry's own
Which is funny, again, because finding freedom, they had to put everything through editing and proofreading and suggestions through the communications team by Kensington Palace through Jason North. And Jason North wrote that statement, so it would have been suggestions. He wouldn't have been writing it.
father, Prince Charles, was taken by surprise as much as anyone.
I was in the Persian Gulf on an official tour with the Prince of Wales, and he was doing some pretty important stuff. And that was penciled in for the front page. I ended up apologising to his press secretaries because we had to reduce that and replace it all with the Prince Harry, Meghan Markle statement.
Mind you, this shouldn't be a shock to Prince Charles at the time because I guess he wasn't the monarch and the Queen was, so it would be about the Queen knowing for which she was there. She was still in the palace and she was head of communications. She had her private secretary, so she would know everything and permit everything. And Todge, these days, through his his continued court case, said that the Queen wished to and allowed the court proceedings against the newspapers, so she would be all for this. So very, if this was, genuine. So Jobson talking about this is just irrelevant. Again.
Clearly, they hadn't spoke to each other.
Harry's sensitivity.
Just to create this rift in this narrative between father and son, which isn't true. I'm not going to go look into this stuff because this is all about Princess Diana, and I just cannot stand when they start dragging her through the mud, using her as an excuse for this narrative. I just can't. I can't do it.
$6,000 miles away in Los Angeles. Mother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
His mother, of course, had been hounded by the paparazzi and driven by a drunk driver, but undoubtedly hounded by the paparazzi.
Harry had not been able to protect his own mother. He now seemed determined to protect Meghan's.
I'm sorry, there's no comparison between Doria Ragland, who is a yoga instructor or whatever the fuck they want to make her. I don't even know what she is. She's the owner of a shell company now, so getting income from the palace. I don't know what she is, but she doesn't deserve any comparison to Princess Diana, the princess of the people. Yeah, no comparison whatsoever. It's just ridiculous. It's just absurd that you're comparing any paparazzi situation where she's driving freely in this footage to Princess Diana. Are you joking? Are you joking? Are you joking, man? Like, honestly, someone needs a good slap in the face for even suggesting this. It's disgusting. It's so disrespectful.
Harry and Meghan's romance is a tale of contrasts and coincidences, and of two
Definitely of coincidences.
converging lives. 4 days after Harry's parents got married, Meghan was born.
I want to pause that because remember how Nut had that videotape that she kept replaying of that marriage? Again, do you see how this is an inserted narrative of her fake identity construct? She wouldn't have been watching a wedding that took place 4 days after she was born and rewatching it. She wouldn't even know about the wedding. She wouldn't be obsessing over the wedding. Back then you had a video recording. So, mind you, remember her and her friend who, Adakani, whatever her name is, her mum would get out the videotape, but her friend was supposedly the same age as her. So then why would you have why would you have the wedding videotaped? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Oh no, that was a book. Oh, whichever friend, it doesn't really matter. It's the same theory, isn't it? Just so illogical and more inserted narrative.
6,000 miles away in Los Angeles. Far from coming from the inner city, she was a valley girl, brought up in the leafy suburb of Woodland Hills in the north of LA. Meghan's mother Doria worked originally as a makeup artist. She and Meghan were close but had contrasting personalities, as Meghan made...
I want you to take really, a lot of notes on this, because contrasting personalities, so her mum was a free spirit, independent, but that's a contrasting personality to Meghan, and she even says it in this interview. So that means everything that you see about laid back in jeans, free spirit, Californian girl, all of that shit is a complete identity construct. And this also confirms the sort of personality that you would need to have to be an employee and a shill, and follow all instruction, just completely compliant and submissive, and very orderly and very organized and very prepared and planned and premeditated. That's who Nut is. Not any of this oh yeah, I'm laid back, I'm chill, just dancing around, learning Spanish and enjoying some tango, and some organic strawberry lemon cake, or, none of the chill. There's no chill. That's why it's always so insincere, because it doesn't make any sense why she's, so attentive to every little detail and so obsessive with these details of her identity and having to advertise them, versus being laid back and chill. Aussies are laid back and chill. The majority of them, we know, laid back and chill. This isn't it.
Made clear in this revealing interview.
No, my mom's amazing. My mom we're so different. My mom is a yoga instructor and a social worker, and she's got a nose ring and dreadlocks, and she's super free-spirited and laid back.
So your mum does yoga, free-spirited, laid back, completely not her. And her mum even confirms it.
And so she's like, you just came out like this. I don't know where you came from.
Meghan has described her dad, Thomas, as the most hard-working father you could imagine. He was a Hollywood cameraman and a lighting director. He'd been married before. Meghan had two much older half-siblings, Thomas Jr. and Samantha. When Meghan was about 6 years old, her parents got divorced. But the Markle separation was amicable. Meghan, seen here with her nephew, remained in close contact with her dad. On Fridays after school, she would visit him at work, on the set of programs such as the 80s sitcom Married with Children. Marty Squires was the costume designer.
Meghan started coming on the show when she was probably, 10, 12. Her dad would go and pick her up from school or whatever and bring her to the set.
Definitely whatever. And remember, Nut was saying what a young girl she was and that it was highly inappropriate for a young girl. But this is 12 was her already at high school, year 7. And 10 or 12, there's quite a difference there. But, not 8, not 6, not 7.
That, and she would hang out on Fridays. The interaction between she and her dad, it really showed, a great love between the two of them. And she was a beautiful little girl. She was striking. And although she was always smiling, there was that serious side too. You could almost tell she was really taking it all in. She was drinking it.
Brought up in the leafy suburb of Woodland. On Fridays after school, she would visit
I just want to check something.
him at work, on the set of programs such as the 80s sitcom Married with Children. Marty Squires was the costume designer.
Meghan started coming on the show when she was probably, 10, 12. Her dad would go and pick her up from school or whatever and bring her to the set, and she would hang out on Fridays. The interaction between...
I'm just finding that shot interesting because that's around the same time as her being, I think, at Doria's home for her birthday. That same hairdo, exactly the same. So, that's interesting.
Between she and her dad, it really showed, a great love between the two of them. And she was a beautiful little girl. She was striking. And although she was always smiling, there was that serious side too. You could almost tell she was really taking it all in. She was drinking it all in and really learning from this experience.
Meghan had caught the acting bug, and she was able to pursue it at her private Catholic high school, the Immaculate Heart.
Outstanding students, no question about it. Her father was also helping with our productions. And as soon as Meghan started doing the plays, there he was helping build the sets and so on. I think
that picture there is Loyola High School play that she did that, I think, after she graduated, or maybe just before. But it matches also photos that supposedly were in 2001. So it's just all bullshit. Everything's just, Gigi Perot was not in charge of that production. It's a Loyola High School production. A gentleman was the head of drama there, and nothing to do with Gigi Perot. So she just went along with being paid in this. Yeah.
Having been on the set with her dad, she also approached everything she did from a very, very professional, very, I don't know exactly what word to use, but she was dedicated to whatever she was dedicated to. She really wanted to act.
So that blurred that photo of her with that blurred face, that's the actual the guy that did that musical, that was in charge of head of drama for Loyola High, which is a boys' school.
Act and to do what she is now doing with Suits.
Despite their divorce, Meghan's parents were united by strong shared family values. Together they supported Meghan as she wrestled with the question of her own identity. Woodland Hills was not diverse, and sometimes neighbours would mistake...
Oh, here we go. So Woodland Hills was diverse, as was Immaculate Heart High School, and Little Red Schoolhouse, or Hollywood Schoolhouse. Hollywood Schoolhouse, she was in Scouts, and she had at least 2 friends that were biracial, mixed race, one parent being black, one parent being African American, and one being a white Caucasian. So you had 2 friends there within her Scouts club that were of mixed race. Then you had just pure African American kids in there, and you had Hispanic as well, and also Asian. And then you had, because that was the whole point of Little Red Schoolhouse, was actually it was actually set up and established to help more of the culturally diverse. I think it was for the Chinese babies, because it was like a nursing childcare firstly, and then it became a school. So it was all about diversity, because the owner, Ruth Pease, was the child of deaf parents, and she didn't want that. She wanted to have more of an inclusive community school, or centre, where any child would not be judged or discriminated against, etc., etc. So the whole school, the whole basis of that school and theme was diversity. So come on. Plus it was elitist, or it was an expensive school where all the good kids went to. So yeah, absolute bullshit. Then you've got Immaculate High, which is a Catholic school. Almost every her last name's Adakani. And then you've got like African American, you've got Chinese, you've got Filipino, of course, because there's a lot of Filipino Catholics. And then you've got Hispanics as well, Mexican. It's a Catholic girls' school. It was just completely diverse, and you see it in all the photos. It's just ridiculous, this notion that it wasn't diverse. And the situation happened with her mum. No, it didn't happen. It's a complete and utter lie, and it's just to make the race bait card credible, and her race identity credible. By the way, she doesn't identify as an African American woman. She doesn't look like one. She doesn't act like one. And her plastic surgery promotes ridding herself of her African identity, or that part of her identity. So it's just beyond a joke, and to be honest, quite offensive and disrespectful to any African American woman, or African American in general. And she never had that as part of her PR campaign, supposedly until Gina Nelthorpe Cowan, who was the UK PR, who's also kind of like an aristocrat. She does the PR for the Virgin guy, the founder of Virgin, and Boris Becker, who went bankrupt. All those wonderful people. She was her PR agent, and Nut wasn't getting any jobs, and so they needed to pull the race card to be empowering against with ethnicity. So she then, and it was to build her identity and her credibility in UK. So that was why race came into this story. Nothing to do with genuine realness And obviously it's the whole reason why it came in wasn't genuinely because she couldn't get just work, but also because of policy and why they needed to set her up. This is just to build up the story of Nut in an semi-organic fashion, quasi organic fashion, trying to convince you that it was real and genuine.
Take Megan's mother for her nanny.
So sad, so
As a
oppressed.
kid with a mother who's
I mean, she was just so oppressed going to these private schools and being surrounded by diversity. And her mum being a nanny. I'm in tears. I'm just so much oppression, so much poverty, and she just, she couldn't have whatever she wanted. Resources weren't at her feet. Yeah, it's just a really sad existence. Terrible, actually.
who's African American, a father who's white. It can absolutely make you feel as if there's no
This guy again, TV writer and journalist that just talks shit out of his ass and spews it back up.
place for you, that there's not a space where you belong, there's not a box that you can check that would explain who you are in the world.
Nice.
On another occasion, Megan described witnessing a driver racially abuse her mother and call her the N-word. My skin rushed with heat as I looked to my mum, her eyes welling with hateful tears. I could only breathe out a whisper of words, so hushed they were barely audible. It's okay, Mummy.
When you read it in her words, you
Doria is not a vulnerable woman.
realise what a scar that left on her, and how from a young age she was obviously acutely aware that her mother, certainly in some
Katie Nichols Shell.
people's eyes, was seen as a second-class citizen.
What a joke, man.
Megan has described how her parents bought her black dolls and white dolls and combined them to make dual heritage families.
She didn't need education. It was all around her.
And how when she was unsure whether to tick the black box or the white box in a census at school,
Oh, come on.
her father told her, "Draw your own box, Megan.